it's been, actually now it's 8 years, but we've been chasing the rights for that long. You know, I think we heard the music before it opened on Broadway, and we were just taken by the music straight away. So we started chasing it, finding out more about it, writing to MTI, who were like, nobody has the rights yet, so guys, just hold back. I mean, eventually they got the rights, but then it was in a holding pattern for a while because they were going on the North American tour, the Canadian tour, and then the film was going to happen. So then it just got delayed and delayed and delayed. And then eventually, I guess about a year and a half ago, they called us up and said, the rights are becoming available. Somebody else has asked us for it for Southeast Asia, but I know you've been chasing it, so do you want it? And if you do, send in your proposal. So we did, and I think for us, because our proposal was very much, we want to keep it intimate because it's such a delicate story. I think that won over going big, because I think whoever else was after it wanted to kind of put it in Marina Bay Sands, big theater, big stage, you know, make a lot of money. But you know, it's really about the intimacy of the storytelling that's really important, and thankfully that came our way. So yeah. I think it's interesting actually. I think each theatre company in Singapore reaches out to a slightly different demographic. And when we set up Pangdemonium, what we found was our demographic was actually quite young, younger than some of the other companies. And I guess part of that is some of the work that we're producing is just attractive to that age group, and maybe the style in which the way that we produce our shows. But you know, I think, and this is I believe is a worldwide thing. People are attracted to musicals, you know, and so people are more willing to spend their spare money on, you know, going to a musical more than going to a play. So we just kind of got into, we started with a musical, and it became something that we ended up doing, you know, once a year, that we would put on a musical. I mean, having said that, it costs so much more to put on a musical. There's just so many more elements to it. But you know, I think it's something that we enjoy doing, and we've kind of grown in confidence and experience in doing it. And you know, the audience have really shown their appreciation by kind of coming back year after year for more. I mean, it's a good question because we're quite careful about the type of musicals that we choose. In fact, any type of show, but we're not really into kind of very fluffy, meaningless work. So we always try to look for something that you know, I think just has a little bit more something to say about the human spirit when we're looking for pieces. So you know, I think that, you know, as we move forward, you know, we've kind of done some of our favorites. Is how do we keep looking for new things? You know, is very interesting. How do we bring new people into the industry, whether that be guiding new directors, new artists, you know, all into quite a difficult piece of work to put on, you know, a musical, because there's so many elements to it. So I think it's really, really important to, as they say, kind of keep the ladder down so people can climb up. You know, it's making sure that there is opportunities for new people to enter the industry and to learn and be able to keep moving forward so that it doesn't die, you know. So I think that's really our kind of journey moving forward, is making sure that this is something that can be maintained for the future.
Okay.
I mean, mental health issues is something that's always been very strong to our heart in Pangdemonium. We've done many shows that look at mental health in different ways. So that is something that touches us very much. But this is really, I mean, looking at some of the things that the youth of today are facing, some of the difficulties that maybe we didn't even face in our time, you know. So dealing with social media and you know, being in the public face all the time, how do you manage that and find your way through and survive the other end? You know, because people have long memories and they kind of dig out things that you did 10 years ago. So it's like, I think that's quite a big thing in Evan Hansen about how social media is used in terms of what he learns, how his behavior changes during this course of a year and a half in his life. So I think that's really important as well, and how he learns how to manage his mental health issues, his relationship with his mother, you know, and just relationships with other human beings, which is something that as an individual, he finds quite difficult as well. So I think there's a lot to unpack in the show. Absolutely, we've never done a reproduction of a show. So that's something that we kind of like to come and direct it ourselves and bring our own kind of storytelling techniques to it. I think it makes it more interesting. I think that, you know, there are shows that are basically replicas that are just touring around the world everywhere, but this is going to be an Asian premiere, so it needs to kind of come in and you know, be relevant to, you know, this region, and I think that's really important. So yes, we're going to be creating our own new set designs. We actually were the first to get the rights for a non-replica production. Okay. I think just that Australia actually are opening at the same time as us. You know, so that's going to be really interesting because I've been in touch with the Australian producers as well. You know, so it's quite fun kind of seeing how we're kind of going along the journey together. I think diversity is super important. You know, when we look at casting, I always try to find the right people for the role, and that doesn't necessarily mean the right color. You know, it's about just who has the talent, who has the ability to create this character. And I think being the Asian, you know, Southeast Asian premiere, I think it's really important that Singaporeans get to see Singaporeans who can do this work and be proud of their counterparts that are able to do such amazing work like this.
Right. And why should Singapore's theater audience, or even regional audiences maybe, see Dear Evan Hansen in October?
Oh, it's like the best musical of the decade. You've got to see it. You know, how can you not?
I love it. Musical of the decade.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tracie Pang, and I'm the director of Dear Evan Hansen Singapore. Get your tickets now at Cystic. The show opens on October the 11th, and you don't want to miss it.